then click the picture, take you straight to Amazon. I'm waiting for the signal to come in on Amazon, and it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. And I can now press go live. 3, 2, 1. I'm live on Amazon. How's that for timing? We've got 3 seconds left. Now, as I hide that, put this full screen, I had this idea yesterday that I would go live at 5 o'clock today and say hello to just a moment. Just move this out of the way and say hello to Corinda. And Corinda's live as well. And hello from Chris. Hello, Chris. And over to Corinda again. And Corinda again. Okay. Now, all the special effects today, and this is a beta, so be warned, but the special effects are by MMHMM, and this is one of the sets that you can actually use in your live broadcast. I won't be using this. I just, well, I love the look of it, because we've got the fireworks in the background and they're working. You've got transparency. I can show the show card, so everything's working as it should be. I had this idea yesterday about doing a new show. I said I'd be live at 5 today, and I am. And I didn't actually decide what I was going to do until midday today. So at midday today, I decided I was going to do Touring England with Stephen, and we're going to be visiting properties that are run by National Trust and English Heritage. And I can slow down now because we're actually live. And over to Corinda. And Corinda is saying, so how you got image arrow? I'm not quite with that, Corinda, but we can talk about it later. It is MMHMM, and as I say, it's in beta, so there are going to be glitches, but it is green screen software. I'm not actually using my green screen. This is directly from, anyway, back to the story. So I was thought, right, I'll do Tour in England with Stephen, and I will use the National Trust and English Heritage sites. So we're going on a tour of hundreds of different places, but not today. Today we're going to be looking at Wiltshire. Out to Corinda again. Yep, it's a 3-month trial. Just type in MMHMM. It's actually founded by one of the co-founders of Evernote. So, and it's just received $100 million in funding. So it is here to stay. It's pretty good. I can switch over to me in London, and that works quite well. I can put my hands up. Yeah, pretty good. But it's not perfect yet. So I'm hoping to get in touch with them and see if I can help to actually make it a little bit better than it is. But as for something different, I would love the fireworks, and I'd love to have some music to actually launch this new show, Touring England with Stephen. Now, if you're watching me on Amazon, there is a carousel down below, and you're welcome to actually browse the carousel during the course of the broadcast. And if you have any questions about any of the products in there, then please do ask. I'll be going through them individually as we carry on with the show. And I think what I need to do is I need to do this. Okay, so let's hide that. Let's bring this in and put it full screen. Okay, and I'm going to do something else as well. Just a minute. Let me hide that for a second. Bear with me. Right, while I do something in the background. I've got rid of the special effects. I'm going to close the special effects down. Say no to that. No to that. So I'm actually closing down the special effects. I'm going to switch my main camera to using. Bear with me a minute. Everything has a price, and it should come through in a second or two. Hopefully, we'll have the camera. If this works, it'll be good. If it doesn't work, then right. Okay. Okay. So we've had the special opening. I could have actually, and back to me, I could have actually recorded that. I think I will. The special effects are very good. It is HMM, and if you check it out, beta test 3-month trial, and it's just going to get better with time, especially now they've got. Thank you, Corinda. Especially now that I'm not sure whether everybody heard the echo, but hopefully you can all hear me now. I don't know what Corinda's doing whilst he's live, but so I'm just going to go over to the Amazon page and check that we're live on the Amazon page. And I'm just waiting for it to come through. Yes, we're live on the Amazon page. And hello to Chris and Noah. Right, okay. And Chris hasn't got an echo. So Corinda, if you could refresh and just carry on with your show for the moment, that would be good. Right, okay. So we've done the special effects bit. That might have worked, don't know, but it's worth trying. So this is a new broadcast. And what I want to do is to say, welcome to the show. And this is Touring England with Stephen. Now, what we're going to do is we have 2 organisations in the UK who are responsible for looking after and maintaining properties which have been given to them. And the first of those is the National Trust. And Angelica and I are members of the National Trust, and we can visit over 600 properties in the UK. And English Heritage. Now, English Heritage maintain the castles in the UK and country houses. They maintain, for example, Adrian's Wall, which is the wall that separates England from Scotland. So they're looking after monuments as opposed to houses. So with those as a backdrop, what we're actually going to do is we're going to share screens. This is either going to work or it's not. I'm going to hide that. And if I go share screen, this is all experimental, so bear with me. I'm going to go picture in picture. I'm going to shrink myself. Okay, so I'm just changing theme here and go for that theme. Okay, and after a second or two, there I am. Right, okay. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be touring this particular website. Now, the National Trust, as I say, is the organisation that looks after country houses throughout the UK, which have been donated by families over time. And if you are a member of the National Trust, then you can visit the properties without any further charge. So you pay an annual fee. You pay an annual fee to the National Trust, and then you can visit any of the properties that they look after, and that's throughout England. There's another National Trust in Scotland, another one in Wales. You get the picture. But in England, we've got plenty of places to actually look at. And the first thing I want to start with is something which will give you an idea, really, of basically where I am. So I'm going to screen share again, and we're in no particular rush. I'm going to screen share, and I'm going to screen share a Chrome tab, and the Chrome tab I'm going to share is that one. And we'll come over here, I can bring that Chrome tab up on screen, and there it is. And I can go hide that. And I can go picture in picture. Right, this is the southwest of England. And if you go full screen, you'll see on the map, if you look dead center of that map, you'll see a blue dot and a yellow dot. That is Devizes. That's where I live. To the west of us is Bristol. To the south of us is Southampton and Portsmouth and Bournemouth. So we are sort of equidistant from all those places. We're close to Salisbury, as you can see if you go down on the Devizes. Hope you found Devizes. And then over to the left, you've got Bridgewater in Somerset, Taunton in Somerset, Colompton, Exeter, and to the east of us, we've got Reading, Slough, and then you can see London. So you can see we're about an hour and 3/4 from London. If we went by car on the motorway, we would be there inside a couple of hours. So geographically, that is where we live. So we actually tour the properties which are around us. Okay, so that's where we're going to start today. We're going to start with Devizes our centre, and we're going to branch out and look at the properties that Angelica and I have visited and can visit. So you're going to get a guided tour. Some of the places that we're going to be seeing, I know of, and I've heard of. Some places you're going to be seeing, I've actually visited with Angelica, and so I'll be able to talk a bit more about them. If you have favourite places that you would like us to talk about, then please do drop a line in the comments and say where you'd like to see, because this is driven by your comments. Tell me where you are, tell me where you'd like to see in the UK, and we can arrange it. And we can arrange it by visiting a country house in the area or a castle. So we're going to have a mixture of country houses and castles during our journey. So let's put the map on one side so you know where I am. Devizes in the middle, down below Southampton, to the left is Bristol, to the right is London. That's Devizes in England. We saw Devizes last Wednesday when I did a walkabout town. We went to the castle, if you remember that. So I'm going to drop the map out now that you know where I am. I'm going to bring this back in. Okay, so this is the National Trust. If visiting England is on your bucket list, then what you actually want to do is to join the National Trust. Because if you join the National Trust, you'll be able to go to all the country houses in the UK and to the castles as well. And it's a one-off fee. All right, you'll be buying 12 months, but I know there's a comment coming up. Peter Stewart is saying very good. That's not Peter Stewart. The picture's disappeared now. Thank you, Peter. So what we're actually doing is you should buy a National Trust membership when you land in the UK. It will save you literally hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Okay, so let's have a look at the site. And I'm going over to the site of my browser. So my gaze might move a bit from looking at you, but I am still in control of what's going on. So we can visit and make a booking. I'll come back to that in a moment. It's a delight to go out and visit the country houses in the summer. They are open, most of them are open all year round. But you can just get an idea of the variety. Seaside, countryside, yeah, places for dog walking, beautiful beaches. You can visit all these properties for less than $100 per person. And you can see there is wildlife conservation, or you can join or you can donate. Okay, so what we're going to do now makes my job a little bit easier, is going to plan your visit. Okay, so planning your visit, and it's got the information on what you need to do to actually plan your visit. There's a short video there about what you should do before you're visiting, and I'm going to go, and these are the places you need to book at the moment. This is all changing. Things are changing throughout. the National Trust world. But you can see the beautiful photographs. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to Days Out at the top. And it's asking me where I want to go. The site, you can try out this site for yourself. And if I could spell, this would work well. So I'm in Wiltshire, as you saw on the map, and it's now going to give me all the places which are local to where I am. Okay. Now, as I say, some of these places I've actually visited, some I haven't. I'm going to take Peter's comment off screen. So I'm going to show you the places where I visited. I will tell you more about it. If you want to know more about it yourself, then all you have to do is to type in National Trust England, and you'll see what we're seeing on the screen now, and you can discover more. So let's go. Let's start off with, we've all heard of Stonehenge, but have you heard of Avebury? Avebury was built at the same time as Stonehenge, and it is another stone circle. But as you can see, I just want to get rid of that important notice. That's going to stay there, isn't it? The stones are not as tall as the ones at Stonehenge, but that's what you need to know. And this is places around Stonehenge. So let's see if we can go inside and right. So it's open to everybody and you can just walk there. You can walk around, and I'm just looking for, right. Okay. Okay. It is set in the countryside and you can just enjoy walking around. I just want to things to do and see. Okay, there's the garden. You can see the manor house there. This is the Avebury Manor garden, and you can see it's a house. It's set in its own grounds. You can tour the house. You can go inside the house as we have, and it's preserved as it was a while ago. And you can just walk around. There's a tea room around the back, and you can only go in the tea room if you're a National Trust member or you've paid for the day. And it's just a magnificent property. Okay, and there's the gardens behind the house. So we're taking a walk around the house now, and we can see the changes in the gardens over the years. And I just want to go back. So I'm just going back a page, and hopefully this is showing up on screen. And you get guided tours. You can visit the museum. There is a museum because you know that we're actually, I'm just waiting for this page to load. Yeah, you can visit the museum, which is in an old stables, and there you can see a collection of artifacts which have been found around the Avebury site. Now, I just want to, if I can, all this is experimentation. This is an experimental show. Anything can happen and probably will. I want to go back to picture there. Okay, so what you have is a large stone circle, and the stone circle actually runs through a town called Avebury. Avebury does exist. It's got a few hundred residents. But in the 17th century, in the 18th century, Victorian times, the local farmers were building their farmhouses, and they borrowed perhaps too loose a word, but they borrowed the stones to build their houses. So the stones are not as they were in the early 1800s, but they are a monument which is over 4,500 years old. Now, just like at Stonehenge, at the summer solstice and the winter solstice, Druids and followers actually gather here and hold ceremonies on those particular days. There is a pub which is in the center of the ring. There are houses in the center of the ring. There's a farm, and this is working farmland. This is not It's in daily use. It's sheep are herded, and there are walks all around. And from here, you can walk over to something I'll show you another time, which is Silbury Hill. This is a centre for walking, which is why, let's look at the carousel. Okay, I'm going to come back. And coming back, which is why I have suggested that you have, just to give me a second, we'll get there in a second. Why did I put so much on the carousel? That you should have a pair of decent walking boots. This is walking country. This is getting out the car, parking the car up and walking away from it and going to visit the stones, then walking from the stones along farm tracks with walls either side until you get to the summit, and you can look down over the full valley, and then you can turn right onto what's called the Ridgeway, and you can walk down the Ridgeway, and then you can cross over the road and you can visit Silbury Hill. Will be on your left hand side, your right hand side are burial mounds, so you can actually do a day out in Avebury, and when you've finished, you can come back to Avebury, you can visit the house, and you can go to the National Trust restaurant. Now, National Trust restaurants are unbelievable in terms of the quality of the food and the value for money that they have. So we started our journey at Avebury, and Avebury is in Wiltshire. As we saw on the map, that's 120 miles from London, and it must be on the list of places that you visit. Now I'm going to go back, skip back, rewind. Oh, wait a minute, I've gone one too far. Let's go forward. So I'm going to type, I'm on the National Trust site. So just in your browser, just type National Trust England. I'm typing in, if I could spell, you can probably see that I've misspelt it. Typing in Wiltshire. And the first place that we visited was Avebury. Stone Circle, as you can see there. And it's a great place to actually spend a day out, get steeped in history. I mean, this is 4,500 years of history. And in the museum, you can see the finds that they've made in the last 4,500 years. And it's fascinating to learn of the our history, our joint history, the history of man is celebrated in that museum. Right, okay. Now, the next place we're going to visit is Laycock. Now, Laycock Abbey and the Fox Talbot Museum and Village. Why is this special? Okay, let's come back to me for a minute. There are very few places which have a double history. And Laycock Abbey, which was an abbey, it was the home of an order, a clerical order of nuns, but it also was the home of Fox Talbot. Now, if you don't know who Fox Talbot is, then I just want you to hold your mobile phone and look at your camera. Fox Talbot took the first ever, note that, the first ever photograph. Okay. He was the man who started photography. He was the man who had a plate camera, developed it, and then printed it out. And it was the first ever, the French may dispute this. There were French photographers too, but the first publicly seen photograph was taken out of the window of, I'm going to go off full screen again. The first ever photograph in the world was taken out of a window in the Abbey. Yeah. Now, if you, again, there's a lot of Googling that you can do here, but if you Google Fox Talbot, you'll find the picture that I'm talking about, which is just looking through a glass window. And it's just an amazing, that's how photography started. That's how our journey to having mobile phones with amazing cameras started. It started in that building. that was where the first ever photograph was taken by Fox Talbot. Let's learn a little bit more. So we scroll down. The main entrance is up that stairway, and that takes you into the Abbey. You can walk around the Abbey. Oh, just a minute. Back to me again. Another reason for going here. If you are a Harry Potter fan, I'm sure some of you are, the filming of Harry Potter took place where? Some of the filming took place at Laycock Abbey. So what you're actually walking onto is a film set. And this was the film set. The interior of the Abbey was used in the first Harry Potter film. And as a keepsake, you will find, if you remember in the scene, there was a cauldron used in the Harry Potter film. That cauldron is actually in one of the rooms in the Abbey. So you can see a piece of, you can walk through history, and you can see a piece of cinematic history in terms of the first photograph ever, and in terms of the cauldron that was used in Harry Potter. Another reason to actually visit wonderful Wiltshire and Laycock Abbey. So I'm going to scroll down now, and you've got these red warnings, which are signs of the time that we're in. So more about the place, things to see and do. Okay, there's a timeless sanctuary you can visit. There are always craft fairs on there. You can visit the Abbey with your dog, which is unusual. They do have presentations by teams of actors. So Dr. Dolittle is on Laycock Abbey. And there is, of course, the astronomy exhibition, which is in the Fox Talbot Museum. You can do summer walks. And there's the, there you see, that's the cauldron, which was used in Harry Potter, and it's been left there by the film production team. There are treasures within the Abbey which you can actually see, and then you can follow the history of the Abbey too, and be told the story of how the Abbey was actually created. It's a fascinating place. And again, you have a National Trust restaurant where you can eat. Now, going here, you're actually taking a walk through 3 lots of history. You're going to see the Abbey, which is, as I say, nuns live there, an order of nuns live there. The house then became private, was taken over by Fox Talbot, the founder of photography. And then when they were making the Harry Potter films, they were used Laycock Abbey as a backdrop. Now, in addition to that, just outside the Abbey is Laycock Village, which is an old English village that if you were asked to paint a picture of an old English village, then you would paint a picture of Laycock. Laycock is trapped in time. The buildings have been preserved since the 16th, 17th, and 18th centuries. You can go for a walk through, you can go to the church, you can go walk through the ford, you can walk all around the village, you can go into the local National Trust shop, you can have, you can spend a day there quite easily. So we've already spent 2 days of your visit to UK. You've been to Avebury, you've been to Laycock Abbey. Now, those are both rather special places to go, and they all have their reasons for actually visiting. So I'm just going to go back, and the places I'm showing you are coming up at random. Because I'm starting with Wiltshire, I can add a little local colour to the places we're actually visiting. All the places that you see, you can visit. You just need to get to the UK, and I'm sure we'll all be able to travel soon. I'm not saying any more than that. If you're watching live on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, thank you. But a special thank you to anybody who's watching me on Amazon Live. This is an Amazon Live show. If you want to join me on Amazon Live, then the link is on my Facebook profile. So just a reminder that we are touring England with Stephen. We're using National Trust properties. They look after the country's properties, public properties. English Heritage, you look after Adrian's Wall and our castles. We will visit some castles. And we've not been to Stonehenge yet, but we have been to Avebury, and we are in Wiltshire in England. And I'll show the map again in a moment so you can actually remember where it is. And just a reminder, I'll take that off screen. You're watching Stephen Healy live from Wiltshire in England. I'm just mad about live video. I'm enjoying my time on Amazon Live, and I just like to say thank you for watching. In fact, I can say that in writing. Okay, so thank you for watching. Okay, so let's go back to our screen share. Okay, I'm broadcasting from the Be Live studio. I'll take that off screen. So we've been to Laycock, the next place we're going to visit. Now, this is the Quartz Garden. Okay, and there it is. That is the Quartz Garden. Why is this special? This is a former industrial estate. This was a working factory, and there were workers' cottages all around, and the people came here to actually work. The factory closed down and fell into disrepair. It was falling down. A private individual bought it, restored the house, and then created these magnificent gardens, which you can visit anytime. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that about a month ago, Angelica and I visited these gardens, and we were with Katie and Martin and Satish and Louise, and I was allowed to go with my mobile camera, okay, and photograph the gardens. So I did a 20-minute video using my mobile phone, broadcasting on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch about the gardens. So if you want to have my personal guide to the gardens, then it's on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, you search for not that one. If you search for, we'll get there in a minute. I keep hitting the wrong button. That button's in the wrong place. If you search for Stephen Healy on YouTube and then search for Quartz or Stephen Healy Quartz Garden, you'll find it. Okay. And you can take a live walk through the gardens. Okay. Right, let's go back to the screen share and back to Laycock. And there we have it. And there it is, what to expect when you visit the gardens. And what you're going to expect is the most beautiful gardens that you could ever wish to see. If somebody said to you, how would you like your garden laid out? Then you'd say, just look at the Quartz Garden, and that will show you exactly how I want my garden to be. Now, as I said a moment ago, this is episode 1 of this particular broadcast, and I will be finding things to go along with everything that we're doing. So there we are. We've got beautiful flowers. I've got the video, so do watch the video. Right. Okay. Back to me. Right. Okay. I'm going to close that page. Okay. So we've looked at a few National Trust properties, and the National Trust are responsible for country houses. They don't get any government grants. Grants come from individuals and from people paying an annual membership fee. As I said earlier, if you want to visit the places that I've just shown you, if you went to them, it would cost you about $80 to go to them. Yeah. If, however, you've got a membership, membership has already been paid for, and you can visit more properties during your stay. National Trust does an excellent job of looking after properties, but they are not on their own. Shall we now share a different page? So forgive me for a moment. I'm just going to screen share. And this time I'm going to screen share another Chrome tab. And it's this Chrome tab. And our heritage is looked after by, if I can get it on screen. I think I've got it. Do you think I've got it? Yes, I've got it. Okay. is looked after by English Heritage. So English Heritage are responsible, as you can see, for Stonehenge and for our castles. Right, 2-minute change of pace as I go through the shop. So you need some boots. The other thing you need is the binoculars, which are now featured. And I want to say hello to, thank you, Chris. Bath. Chris wants me to visit Bath, which I will. There are also ladies' shoes. If you're going to visit any National Trust property or English Heritage property, you need a picnic basket. I've recommended one there. You may also need some walking stick because of all the walking you're going to do. This is one way to get fit, is to visit all these National Trust properties and English Heritage properties. You'll also need an insulated flask because temperatures in the UK can vary. I'll come back to that in a second. And a water bottle to actually carry your water. Okay. And if you want to go off on your own, having a Garmin is very helpful to actually track where you are in your progress. And if you're walking from Avebury to Salisbury to the burial mounds, then the Garmin will come very handy. The other thing you actually need, of course, if you're doing all this walking, is a Fitbit Inspire 2 to actually track your steps. And Fitbit, the brilliant thing about a Fitbit is you're actually joining the community. So whilst it will measure the number of steps you do a day, and I try to do 10,000, more realistically 8, there's a community group as well, and you've got challenges on there. So people will challenge you to do the most. What happened there? I didn't move. Oh, wait a minute, that moved. Technology. You're trying to get everything set up. Yeah, so you join the community. There is software behind Fitbit where you can take part in challenges and you can actually have discussions with people. So it's a great way of keeping fit. It's your Fitbit. All right, back to the story. The main story today is I'm going to take myself off full screen and we're going to go back to the English Heritage site. Okay, now we're going to take a look at two things. We're going to take a look at Stonehenge. So I'm going to type in Stonehenge. If I can spell. One henge. That's not it, is it? Let's put an ST in front of there. Okay. And press return, and places to visit will come up. And there we have Stonehenge. And Stonehenge, what do we need to? We can actually book it, but I don't want to book it now. I just want to look at we want to look at the stones. Okay, and you can see that this photograph was taken either winter or summer solstice. The line of the sun's rays is coming through the stones, and we have pictures of the stones. Now, I'm going to go side by side here because I can. Okay, and Stonehenge is just the most amazing place to visit. There is now a visitor centre with a museum. The museum tells the story of Stonehenge over the last 4,500 years. And it takes you through how the henge was built, where the stones came from, how they were transported. They've reconstructed huts from 4,000 years ago. They have traced the ancestry of the people who lived there. Now, incredibly, and it's not immediately apparent, but the people who helped to create Stonehenge came from England, obviously, London, obviously, Scotland. They'd have to walk 400 miles to get here. But they also came from Europe. And pottery has been found from various countries in Europe on the site. Okay. Now, everything that's found on the Stonehenge site is brought over to where I live in Devizes to the museum and stored in the museum. You arrive at the visitor centre. You can have a coffee if you want to start off your journey. But then you've got a choice. You can either catch the bus to Stonehenge, but it's about just over a mile. So you walk it. And the walk to Stonehenge, when you set off, you can't see Stonehenge from where you are because you're on a gradual slope. Okay, and you've got to get to the top of the slope before you can come down either side and you see Stonehenge. And as you're walking along, when you first start walking down, you see what appears like matchsticks on the horizon far away. And then you get closer and closer and closer, and you see the magnificence of Stonehenge. Now, you used to be able to walk around the stones. Okay. Conservation now says that you can't walk around the stones, but if you're an English Heritage member or a National Trust member, you can walk around the perimeter. And as you do, you can take photographs, you can film. There is something about Stonehenge, something spiritual, which everybody who goes there senses and feels. And it's why people go back. We're fortunate. We live 20 miles away. We can go there 2 or 3 times a year with no problem at all. But if you're visiting for the once, it is get a bus from London, Coach Park, walk from the Coach Park to the stones. I do recommend that. And then you can walk around the stones. You can stay as long as you like. And if you're feeling tired, you can get the bus back, no problem. But if you're feeling adventurous again, you can walk back across the fields. It's something to experience. That's all I can say. It affects us all differently. But Stonehenge is, I wish I could get this right. Hang on, I want to press that button. Okay, this is live. Forgive me. So, Stonehenge is a place where you can go for the day. Okay, now if you type Stonehenge into Google, you will find gazillions of photographs. Okay, and you can book on site, and it says near Avebury, which is an army town. Okay, so let's go back a moment. And the next place we're going to visit, go back to the front page. And in a second, this is my internet, not yours. It's mine that's the problem. So here I'm going to type in Bath. Okay, and press return. Okay, and hopefully they've got monuments in Bath. We've got Bradford-on-Avon. We've got Farley Hungerford Castle. We've got okay, I'm going to have to, Chris, my apologies for that. I'm going to have to research on that. But let's go to a castle, shall we? I want to show you a real castle. Now, I currently live, excuse me a moment, I currently live in wonderful Wiltshire, as you all know. But originally, I lived in Burnley, in Lancashire, which is 20 miles away from Manchester for you Man United fans or Man City fans. And that's on the edge of the Lake District, Windermere, Coniston, all around there. And that was my haunt in my teens and early 20s and 30s. That was my patch. Then I moved down to Stratford-on-Avon, home of Shakespeare, and then came to Wiltshire. So that's where I've been. I'm in a straight line. My next stop is Brighton and the Sea, but don't tell anybody. To the north of the lakes is Carlisle. Now, Carlisle has played a very important part in English history. And one of the places you can visit is Carlisle Castle. So let's have a look at Carlisle Castle now. I'll take it off full screen and picture in picture it is. And let's go off and visit Carlisle Castle. Okay, so we're going here, there, and everywhere. And there we have, there must be pictures, prices, school visits, things to do. And all right, let's try this. Okay, and there we have it. There's the castle. Now, of course, the castle the castle is magnificent. You have to see it. You have to touch the stone. You have to understand how important this castle was. This was a castle that was on the edge of England. The next stop was Scotland. This was the castle, along with the wall, actually guarded England, and it's steeped in history. It really is. You've got Queen Mary's Tower, which is where Queen Mary was hiding from her Scottish subjects. Mary was apparent heir to the English throne. She was a Catholic and ally of the French, so far too dangerous. This is an era where Catholics versus Protestants, it was a battle royal between the two faiths. And she was imprisoned in the tower under the watchful eye of St. Francis Knollys. He allowed the Queen to take walks at the front of the castle, which is now known as Ladies' Walk. So there's Queen Mary's Tower, where Queen Mary was imprisoned. There's an exhibition that you can go to. As well as being a castle, it was also a jail, and carvings were made by the prisoners, and the carvings remain. There is the warden's apartment. There is the Cumbria Museum of Military Life. In the English Army, Cumbrian regiments played a great part. Of course, there is a cafe, and you must take tea and cake, and you must step into England's history. Now, I was trying to find a formidable photograph of the castle. Let's just see if we can go back. Bear with me a moment. We'll find the castle. There's the portcullis, the gate entry to the castle. And there are some of the photographs we've looked at. And do we need to book? Yes, you need to book at the moment. There is a guide, which we can buy. Right, okay, let's just go back. Carlisle is a Roman city. It was founded by the Romans back in 72 AD. In 1092, the first castle was built. Okay, I'm grateful to this. I'm going to show more. Shall we see more? Okay. In the 12th to 15th centuries, the castle was besieged by the Scots. I mentioned that a moment ago, and laid siege to it several times. In 1122, the castle was fortified. Then it was made a residence for Queen Mary. And then there was trouble in the 15th and 16th centuries from reivers coming across from Scotland, and then renovations. Now, that's a beautiful picture of the castle. And then Mary, Queen of Scots, fled to England and kept in Queen Mary's Tower. She escaped. And then the Civil War also visited Carlisle. And they have a beautiful photograph of the castle. Now, Carlisle Castle is about 300 miles from London. So you've got to, if you put it in if England's your bucket list, Carlisle Castle is one of the places you have to visit. Steeped in English and Scottish history, where Queen Mary was imprisoned, and a lot of, well, it's just a fascinating place. And there's a very good Holiday Inn nearby, just saying. So that's Carlisle, that's a castle. Let's have just one more. If anybody mentioned where they'd like to go. Thank you for watching live. And thank you very much. Thank you to everybody who's watching live. I'll now go to one final castle. This is the first experimental show. I think we will be back next Tuesday though. Quite enjoying this. Hope you're enjoying it too. I'm enjoying being on Amazon Live. It makes you think out of the box. This time yesterday, this show did not exist. I just had an inkling of an idea. And that idea was touring England with Stephen. And I thought, well, I can use the National Trust, I can use English Heritage to hang it around and to actually tour those places. And sometimes when you have a plan, it actually comes together. So thank you for watching. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you for actually watching this far. So an official thank you for watching this broadcast. Trying to make every broadcast different. And just as a note, what we've been doing, I'll take that off screen. We're touring properties maintained by the National Trust and English Heritage. They're responsible for looking after properties which have been given to them by the good people of England, and they are run by donations, subscriptions, and from entry fees to actually visiting the properties. So let's go back to the screen share, and I'll do one more property, picture in picture. Hopefully I'll hide that and go back to picture in picture. So let's go back. We're on the English Heritage site. We've just looked at Carlisle Castle. And I'm going to go for another castle. It may or may not be here. So let's see what it says here. Right. Okay. When I lived in Stratford, I lived pretty close to this castle, which is Kenilworth Castle. Now, Kenilworth Castle is, I wish I knew how to get rid of that map. How do I get rid of that map? It is annoying me. I don't want that. I hope they realise that they've ruined the photographs here. Does that move it? No, that didn't work. I just broken it. Okay, we're back in a minute. Normal service will be resumed. It's just that they've put that book thing up, and it's totally made a mess of it. Okay, now there's a short video. If you type in Kenilworth, and I'm trying to get the name on screen. There it is, Kenilworth Castle and Elizabethan Garden. Again, this is well worth a visit. This is a castle which has survived many battles, especially the War of the Roses. And as you can see, in August, there will be a joust. Now, there are troops of jousters or knights who travel the country, and they put on what is effectively a 2-day fair. And it is a recreation of life as it was when jousting was a thing. And you can watch people jousting, you can watch archery, you can watch the games that children used to play, you can buy food that they used to eat. In fact, it's an experience. The day is well worth it. We've been there a couple of times, and it is a brilliant day out. Now, here's the video. Now, let's just... Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop that video. Give me a moment. This is Be Live. Okay, and what we're going to do, if I stop that, bear with me a minute. I'm going somewhere, honest. So I'm going to copy that. And hopefully, if this works, it'll be good. If it doesn't work, then I'll try something else next time. Hopefully you can't hear that. Okay, so I'm going to push that to staging. I'm going to close that. So we're now back to me. I'm going to hide that. I'm going to bring this video up on screen. This is by English Heritage. And wow, this is by English Heritage. Now, when I press this button, this is Kenilworth Castle in Warwickshire, centre of England, close to Birmingham. And this is English Heritage View, and they look after the castle. And I'm going to put it full screen. I'm going to switch my microphone off. We have a tour of the castle. Now, I'm looking to do more of these in future episodes of Touring England with Stephen. This is happenstance. This is just pure sheer luck. I'm going to be quiet now. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Hopefully we're still broadcasting. I done it again. Got so excited. Just to repeat what I did say is that English Heritage provided these wonderful videos. So it's coming together now. I can play their videos as we actually tour different places each week, and that brings it more to life. I mean, you've got pictures, you've got my words and my personal recollections, but now we've got video. So hopefully National Trust do the same, and we can actually show their videos too, which would bring together a marvelous show. If you've been watching me, thank you. I do appreciate it, and I'm getting carried away. I'm getting excited by the fact that this is working. You know, you come up with an idea. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So the history of Kenilworth Castle, and I'm doing this so that I don't get any names wrong. I've got to be honest here. It started off as de Clinton's Castle. It was a grant to the Chamberlain, who was the Chamberlain of Henry I. In 1120, he built the base castle. In 1173, Henry's II said, "That's a beautiful castle that you've built. Can I have it?" Well, he didn't say, "Can I have it?" He just took it. Okay, and let's see more of the timeline. Defenses were strengthened because later it was sieged. There was a great siege. You know, the siege machines. The Royal Rebellion in 1322. The king abdicated. John of Gaunt came to the castle. It was favoured by royalty in the 15th century, and then it was fit for a queen because Queen Elizabeth I visited the owner of the castle at that time, Sir Robert Dudley, and they were, I'm going to say, they were very good friends. And and then in 1958, it was given to the town. So that's a quick potted history of the castle. I enjoyed that video. I enjoyed your company, and I'm grateful that you stayed around to watch. I'm going to come back big screen now. Okay. If you stayed around to watch, you are absolutely brilliant. So we're touring England with Stephen. It's going to be 12 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday. It's going to be an hour where you get to see castles and houses and gardens and monuments, and you get to watch videos all about without doing any researching. If you've got a favorite place in England that you would like to see featured, let me know. All you need to do is to find me Okay, Stephen Healy. That will find me anywhere. Obviously, you can contact me anywhere. And if you've got a favourite place you'd like to be featured in this program, then please let me know. In addition to that, if you've got any footage that you'd like me to show, then I'd be honoured to actually do that. History is one of my things. It's one of Chris's things as well. Chris is into medieval history, and I'm grateful for Chris's help today. So thank you, Chris. I did it again. So today, in no particular order, we've been to Avebury, which is like Stonehenge but bigger. Still 4,500 years old. People do celebrate the summer and winter solstice there. We've been to Laycock Abbey, which is the home of photography and where part of Harry Potter was shot. We've been to the Quartz Garden. I've got a video which is on YouTube, which you can watch. We've been to Stonehenge. We've been to Carlisle Castle. And we ended up at Kenilworth Castle. So we visited 6 places today. I think we'll visit 6 places next week. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great week. This has been Stephen in Wiltshire in England, exploring history with your help. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now. That's a wrap.